What's good, people? It's Jagilsdorf. Today I wanted to talk about manifesting and micro choices. Now, manifesting, if you haven't heard the story about Jim Carrey and the $10 million, you should go check that out. He manifested a $10 million check into his life. And there's a whole field of articles and videos and all this information that you can look into about manifesting on a spiritual side, about literally tuning yourself to change the reality around you, which is kind of interesting to think that your thoughts and your mind alone can just change the reality. On a spiritual side, sure. But then on the flip side, once you start to see something as completed, as oh, I already have that, I already have the Lambo, it's just time. That's the only thing between me and my Lamborghini is time. That's the only thing between me and my goal and aspiration, whatever you want to do. Me and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, me and $1 million check. The difference between you and that is time. And once you start to understand that, you start to make decisions and choices as if you already have it. Not in a bad sense, you start maxing out your credit cards, acting like you have all this money to spend. No, it's just you start to make decisions that push you towards that path, and you start to talk to people and hang out with people, and you do things on a daily basis that cause you to get what you want, just because your mind is in tune. So this idea of manifesting, this idea of really knowing what you want and focusing on it and waking up every day with that same mindset, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go with it and why, and just keep that drive. It's really important because every moment of your life can get changed because of that mindset. Then there's micro choices, these are the tiny little things that you don't realize make a big difference, but start to make a big difference. My favorite example of this is my car keys. I keep my car keys right next to my door because I've never lost my car keys ever. And my friends, for whatever reason, constantly are losing their keys. They spend so much time losing their keys or looking for their keys, and I question that, and I'm just why are you gonna waste all that time? All I did, I hung a single hook, put a nail in the wall, and I hang my keys up when I get in, and I take them out when I go, and it's that simple, and I've never lost them because of that. Same thing with my wallet. And it just makes me wonder exactly how people are able to spend all that time and realize, okay, I am not making that decision. Because you think about it, I save a solid 3 seconds at least every single time I go to grab my keys. I don't have to think where they are, I just go grab them. I never spend any time, and that adds up over a year. Everyone's just yeah, but what, it takes me 3 minutes to find them? Yeah, 3 minutes every single time you go to drive your car for that last 5-10 years. That's a lot of time you wasted that you could have made better if you would have tweaked those micro choices. And it's the smallest little things, really. You remember to plug your phone in at night, I hope, Another one is making your bed. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below, along with the Jim Carrey one about the Marine, and he talks about making your bed in the military as to why it's important. And it's really these micro choices, these small decisions that start to scale when you're talking about doing that every single day, several times a day. Another example I use is my trash can. Now, I'm dead serious. When I got my trash can for my bedroom, I was debating between a tiny one and a very big one. And I instantly realized that if I have a bigger trash can, out of the course of a year, I don't have to change that garbage as much as I would if it was a smaller can. It takes the same amount of time to change a fucking trash can, whether it's a small can or a big can. It's gonna take a minute. But if it's a bigger can, I don't have to do it as often, which means that 1 minute doesn't get repeated as much throughout the course of a year, and I end up saving time instead of throwing it away. This just leads into the idea that every time I want to do something, I think, well, is that speaking towards my goal? Right now, my number one goal is YouTube partnership. I really want to get that 1,000 subscribers. I really want to start, succeeding as a YouTuber and getting to that next stage in my life as a creator as a whole. That to me is a huge goal. And once I hit that 1,000 subs and once I get, into YPP, that to me is just amazing. So every time I go to do something, I'm thinking does that help me as a creator? Does that push me towards getting into YPP, or is it keeping me from YPP? So my friends will call me and be like, hey, do you want to hang out this Friday? You want to go do something? You want to go out? I'm like, no. I don't at all. Or someone will go on a trip, like my buddy just went to Toronto recently. I'm like, okay, did you film it? Did you post it online? Like, come on, man, you're trying to do a similar mindset that I'm trying to do here. Like, use that content. Like, take that moment and go. Like, I got an invite to go somewhere else, and I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. But can I film the whole time? Or are you gonna like be upset that I'm lugging around this camera and all this gear and I'm vlogging while you're trying to like enjoy your trip? Or are you gonna help me out with that endeavor? And you can think about this to like the smallest scale. If you're trying to save up for, a car or a house or what have you, every single purchase you make, you got to think like, what is worth more to me? This purchase today or that big purchase? Every time you go buy a cup of coffee, think, is this $4 Starbucks really worth $4? Or do I want that house more? Yeah, that house might be 4 or 5 years down the road. That, fancy car might be 4 or 5 years down the road. But that decision, that micro choice you make today versus coffee at the store or coffee at home, are you going to save that extra dollar today and make that micro decision? Or are you going to spend it and then not be able to see that scale in the macro? And this concept of micro macro, I got to give that shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't know who that is, check him out below. Because seriously, like, that has changed everything for me. Like, really realizing that those micro decisions and that concept of manifesting your end goal, that's real. Like, you get to that point. I'm serious. Just try these things for like 7 days with no excuses and no exceptions, and you tell me, comment below, and you let me know exactly how that worked out for you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of the playlists and all the other stuff that I got going on here. And if you want to hear what music I'm listening to while I make this, the link's in the description. Peace.